Hey everybody, Brian Boyle here, and welcome to episode 114 of The Mesh Tongue. Today is Monday, and hopefully you're having a great day. If you got questions, comments, send those to me, Brian, B-R-I-A-N, at company number 5k.com. So company5k.com. Also check out runpainless.com. Today, I'm going to give a follow-up to part one yesterday. So today's part two of the plantar fascia, plantar fasciitis segment that I kind of started. And again, I don't know why I haven't showed you this sooner, but it is what it is. So plantar fascia is, as many of you have commented on Instagram and some other social media sites, have just like, it's brutal. There's no one thing that works for everybody. I can try these with 100 people and get probably 100 different results. Okay, and so it's a combination of things. So we'll work on one thing, we'll work on another. We'll start increasing activity, non-impact. Just trying to keep your cardiovascular conditioning up. So if you do have plantar fasciitis, pool running, the Ultra-G treadmill, again going back to that, cycling can be of benefit to keep your cardiovascular activity going while you're dealing with this. Psychologically, this is a really frustrating one because it's like, well, why isn't my pain just going away? So today I want to show you a couple of quick things, some things that we've probably already talked about, but we'll put them into the context of plantar fasciitis because you've probably only associated with them previously for posterior tibialis or for Achilles tendonitis, and even though the symptoms may be a little bit different, sometimes the treatment is similar or the same. And so it's always good to put that into context for you. One of the things that we will do is we'll use an ultrasound, and this is one of those things that is going to be very highly controversial. I don't usually talk about controversial things, but this one will probably be controversial. There's going to be a lot of people that will probably write and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're still using ultrasound. And I'm going to preface this by telling you that the ultrasound is I only use ultrasound for the plantar fasciitis or the lateral epicondylitis, and the only reason I use them, okay, is because I like to use this over the bony tendinous junction, and that osseous junction, basically the fibers and the connections between the tendons and the bone, and then also over the connective tissue, I think have a real benefit to using ultrasound, which is sound waves. So the crystal inside this sound head that vibrates at a certain frequency, we can adjust that. The science behind it you don't necessarily need to know, other than the fact that we can help with tissue healing and remodeling through the ultrasound. Now, it does not work on muscles that I believe, at least, that I've seen benefit from. There may be some folks that will write in and say, oh, I use it on muscles. It used to be 20, 30 years ago, people would come in and that's all they would get was this HUMS, the acronym for heat ultrasound massage and stretching. And the science hasn't really backed this stuff up. Insurance doesn't like paying for it per se, so a lot of people get all bent out of shape and they're like, oh, I can't believe you use ultrasound, I can't believe it. And in reality, there's probably a couple things that it works on. If you're using it for low back and shoulder and everything like we used to do, chances are you're right, it doesn't work. Okay. Anecdotally, though, if somebody comes in and they ask for this because they had this years ago, who am I to say, hey, you know what, we don't do that anymore? I can educate and say, hey, these are the reasons why we might not. But again, everyone's pain is individual, and you'll find that out. So if you haven't already, so the ultrasound is one thing that we use. Again, going back to our instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization. So my tool that we had custom made for us. I like the tool. It really gets in there where my fingers can't, so my fingers will displace around my thumb and four fingers will displace around if I'm doing soft tissue mobilization. Get these little cracks and crevices and little bumps here. This solid piece of metal, nothing's getting underneath here. Had an employee that used to work with me for a little bit, and she would go nutsy cuckoo every time I would scrape somebody's foot because you could hear things crunching, especially somebody coming in for plantar fasciitis. We had some really, really good results with this, but again, not for the faint of heart, as I alluded to yesterday. A lot of people that just very ticklish feet, especially if you've let this go for an extended period of time or you didn't get referred. Maybe you've been seeking treatment. That's sometimes the other thing is, people will put you into different categories, and maybe you finally get to a physical therapist and it's been 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, before somebody says, you need to go see a physical therapist. That happens, okay? So I can't always fault everybody for letting it last real long. I've had a couple patients, just recently even, that have absolutely been to other places before they finally got to me. No fault of their own. There was nothing they could do. It was just that timing of things. Another thing that I really like doing is low-dye taping, okay? And this particular tape job isn't really hard to do. You know, you just got to be careful. I'm going to show you how to do that here quickly. And so I'm just going to change things up a little bit here. All you need is a roll of athletic tape, so about 1.5 inch to 2 inch. And if you notice that mine's not white, I've got digital camo. So not everybody is as cool as digital camo, and so if you can't rock it or can't pull it off, then don't try it. But if you can get your hands on some digital camo, my baseball players love this stuff. So we're gonna just hone in on here, and I'll show you my foot. So I started off the tape job already, all right? And literally what I've done is I've taken a strip of tape. All right, so I've taken this 1.5 inch tape, and what I've literally done is just cut it in half. So you just start peeling this down, and then what I do is I start off at the toe, okay, at the metatarsal head. So right at that head there, and then I pull down. So I wrap this thing around the heel. Okay, and you make this teardrop, and then you bring it back up. Don't worry if it's a little short your first time, okay, you can always just add, you know, mine was stopped like right here, and I'm like, well, that doesn't help. Okay, so I just tore another strip, started off down here, and brought it back up. Okay, so the goal is that it goes around the ankle, okay, and it's making this teardrop shape. All right, so you're creating a little bit of a support for the arch. All right, we've talked about plantar fascia and where that is and in the longitudinal arch. Next thing you're gonna do is you're just gonna take your strips of tape, okay, and you're just gonna apply. You don't want to necessarily pull one way or the other, okay. So you're just gonna apply that tape, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna apply it and just pull it up and around the foot. Okay, so I'm not applying tape in any, with one pull. Sometimes when we do this tape, what we'll do is we'll actually take, and we're trying to pull or create an arch. I'm not necessarily trying to create an arch. All I'm trying to do is support the foot. So I'm just going to apply equal amounts of pressure down and in. Okay, and again, you're going to take about this 5 to 6 inch strip, and you're going to just overlap. And again, my toes, I want my toes pointed up. So I'm showing you how to do this, all right, for yourself. Anybody do anything fun over the weekend while I'm showing you how to do this? This is probably one of the longer tape jobs that you're going to do, okay, for yourself, that you can do on yourself. And again, it does take a little bit of practice. So I'd buy a couple rolls of tape, get used to it. If you're not used to taping yourself, okay, and all you're going to do is just keep overlapping. So notice I didn't go all the way up, all right, because I want to stop about mid-foot here. I can always wrap this with pre-wrap if I need to. And you could go all the way up, and a lot of times what I'll do is just peel this down in a second anyway, so that to kind of close off the tape. But just keeping this, and just again, I'm not applying it one direction or forced to. I'm literally just trying to support the foot.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm trying to load up your schedule with me this week.
Excellent.
You saw that?
I did.
What did you do with that?
Nothing, just showing tape in here.
Okay.
So, and then you're going to keep going all the way down here. And we get all the way down to the base of the, heel. And as I say, you never know who you're going to see when you come into these videos. We just keep things rolling. When we get all the way down to the end, okay, this is what will end up happening, is you can put just a small strip here just to close this thing off, okay? So that's when everyone gets all nutsy cuckoo. They go, oh man, what's going to end up happening? So just take a small strip and just apply it on an angle, okay? So about this 45-degree angle, and what you notice is that we've completely wrapped the foot, all right? And we're going up on both sides. What you're going to do now to seal this tape off is you're going to take a piece of tape, okay, and actually probably what we'll do is we'll just pull this thing down. And we'll put one more strip here. And we can just wrap that underneath there. Okay, and I'm not worried about that catching on the sock or anything. All right. So we're gonna just take this tape and we're gonna wrap this around, and we're just gonna come up around the other side. What this is gonna do is just gonna help prevent the tape, that the strips of tape have come up on the sides. Okay, so we can take 2 of those, just nice and easy. And again, it just covers everything up. And voila, there we go. Okay, so everything is just nice and covered. Okay, I'm going about 3/4 up just behind the big part of the toe here. All right, that way on the outside I don't go up over the small toe, and that's the key. Unfortunately, a lot of people will take this up too high and then they're trying to worry about the toes. So if you stop about an inch below the big toe here, this bump, the outside bone, it's gonna make it so that you come here. All right. So fairly simplistic, as I say, not always the most simple tape job for you to do. So practice it. All right. So again, just take half of the roll, peel that off. All right. Make that teardrop. Then you just apply, and you overlap about half of the strip. You overlap. Okay. And then you take those 2 strips and around. So you can leave this on. This, unfortunately, it's not like the kinesio tape that you can leave on 3 to 5 days. This is one of those things that sometimes will come off, you know, and you put your sock on and you run, or you go and do some activity. But what you're looking for is you're looking to feel better. Okay, it should support the ankle. And so as you're on, or I'm sorry, the bottom of the foot should give you a little bit of a relief. If that's the case, then you're onto something and you realize that that's pretty good. I would do this after you've already done your other things. If you're doing your exercises or icing or some other things, then I would do this, because obviously you don't want to put the tape on and then try and go ice. But you can do this and then try your exercises. This is always good, you know, to work on, you know, before you go and, you know, whether ride the bike or if you're doing something else other than running, if it's that severe that you've had to stop running. That's it. I mean, so the scraping, the ultrasound, taping, and then the exercises can be of benefit. Sometimes we'll ice. You know, as we talked about, the ice massage, the stinger, or the water bottle. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. I do also like TENS. We'll use the stim unit, the electric stim, or the TENS. If you have one, feel free to use it. You know, again, this is so individualized. I like doing 2 channels if you've got the time, you know, or you've got the capability, not the time, you've got the time, the capability. And where I usually put the stim pads, okay, you know, I'll usually put a stim pad here, all right, and then one up, and then down the foot, and then again up on the ankle, so we crisscross. So literally what we've done is we've just made an X. Okay, so go up onto the leg, and then, you know, one patch on one side and, you know, on the other. So you literally have this crisscross. That seems to work best. And then, you know, whichever setting you feel comfortable with. So that is plantar fasciitis in a nutshell. There is no one technique. There is no one thing that's going to prevent this. There's no one thing that's going to help you. So find what works best for you. You can try all of these, and it is a trial and error by all sense of the imagination. And if you've gone through it, you know it's a trial and error. Unfortunately, it's not exact science. That's it for today. So, episode 114 of The Mesh Tongue. It's a wrap. Brian Boyle here. If you've got questions or comments, please send those to me, Brian, B-R-I-A-N, at company5k.com. Get those to me. I'll be happy to answer them. Share this with your friends, your family, your training partners. Whatever you do, don't go hurt yourself to come back. I'll see you again tomorrow, and have a great day.